All right, let's go ahead and get started. I will leave the meeting room open just in case any of you all have colleagues that'll be joining us. So the room will be open and anyone can join us for the demonstration. Again, thank you everyone for joining me on today's winning sales proposal training. Today's demonstration should last about 60 minutes. If you are unable to stay for the entire duration of the webinar, no worries. We do have a copy that is sent out via email to everyone, so please keep an eye out for that. I have placed everyone on mute, and you will be on mute for the duration of the webinar just to reduce any kind of potential background noise. If you have questions throughout today's demonstration, please feel free to type those into the chat box, and I can definitely stop and answer those. If you'd like to save your answers for a full Q&A session at the end, please feel free to do so. Let's take a look at what we'll be going over today. We'll go through a quick introduction into myself, the customer success team here at Aurora and Aurora. What makes a winning sales proposal? What is a proposal template and how does that differentiate from the final proposal? We'll go through a complete demonstration of editing a proposal template, a quick overview of finance products, and then we'll bring it all together in a final project that I've been working on. A little bit about Aurora. Our mission is to help you design and sell better solar. We do that through a number of ways, including remote site analysis, bankable shade reports, accurate performance simulations, and financial models, and customizable sales proposals. We're currently doing a little over 60,000 projects a month in Aurora, and we do see that number growing significantly. A little bit about the customer success team. On the left-hand side, I have my colleagues Alex, Kenneth, Johnny-Key, and I. We are customer success analysts or account managers here at Aurora. If you've heard from your customer success analyst in the last couple of weeks, I highly recommend scheduling some one-on-one time with them just to make sure that your account's set up properly. If there's any training that needs to be covered, you know, we'd be more than happy to go through that with you. Any configuration of proposal or finance templates, please feel free to let us know. On the right-hand side, I have my colleagues Matt, Oscar, and Michelle who are on the support side, and I'm sure you'll be coming across and speaking with them if you have any questions and sending those over to support. Quickly going over what makes a winning sales proposal. At Aurora, we conducted a small survey with Aurora clients and non-Aurora clients to see what they thought should go into a final proposal. This small survey helped us come to the conclusion of 5 major items, including highlighting things that are important to a homeowner, being flexible enough to show what you want to show, differentiating your company, exuding the highest sense of quality and professionalism, and finally being remarkable. We do have the full blog article available on our page blog.aurorasolar.com. I do highly recommend keeping an eye out for any blog posts that we put out. We put out a number of blog posts a week, giving you updates about Aurora, not only Aurora, but the industry, but the solar industry. So we do put out a lot of good informative blog posts. So keep an eye out on those. Let's take a look at the pre-configured templates that we have in Aurora for you. So in Aurora, we do have 7 pre-configured templates. 4 of those templates are going to be our residential sales templates, which are brandable with your logo, company, and colors. Customizable, and again, we'll go through this in depth in just a moment. In each of these 4, default to 16 pages with showing all the information that you would like to show. In addition to these 4 residential sales templates, we have 2 commercial templates and a preliminary site assessment document as well. Our 4 residential sales templates do default to comparing a cash and loan option. And that's just a default. Of course, we can change that in each of our templates. We can compare up to 3 different finance options So let's say you'd like to compare a cash and a 10-year loan versus a 20-year loan, you're more than welcome to do that. If you'd like to compare a cash, a loan, a PPA, you're more than welcome to do that. If you just like to configure a template for just a cash project or just a loan project, you're more than welcome to configure it that way. So up to 3 different finance products compared at the same time. Editing your proposal template. So a little bit of background of a proposal template. So the proposal template should be looked at as kind of a container or blueprint. You're going to configure your proposal template once, and then each and every time you generate a proposal, you'll go ahead and use that template, and all the necessary details and information will copy over. So things like the customer name, the customer address, the expected savings for that project, the expected production, system production for that project, all of those important details will copy over into your template. And then the final proposal is the document that you're going to be presenting to your client. And you can either send that via email as a PDF document or print it out and present that to them. Our proposals combine all the data that you'd like to present into one document. So on the system performance and system design and performance side, you could add 2D, 3D viewports, different placeholders, and we'll go through what placeholders are in just a moment. Different charts and tables, bill of materials tables, for example, and your production data. On the financial analysis side, all values will populate into the placeholders, into those charts and tables, and the environmental conditions. Now let's jump over into Aurora and take a look at those templates. This will be your, for anyone that has not signed in yet, this is going to be kind of your welcome homepage. Each and every time you sign into Aurora, it'll be a list of your projects here. My list may be a little longer than yours, or it might be a little shorter, but this will be the page you'll be greeted with every time. For today's demonstration, we will be focusing highly on in the database section. And we'll come back to this in just a moment. We do have some resources at your fingertips. So our Learn Center is a library of short 1 to 3 minute videos guiding you through Aurora. Excuse me just a moment. So if you're a brand new user to Aurora, or if you've actually been in Aurora for a while and you have questions on things like inputting usage and bills, using the Smart Roof tool on easy roofs, intermediate roofs, more advanced roofs, adding your trees, adding your obstructions, running your radians, and what does that mean for your project? You're more than welcome to access any of these videos at any time. Again, they're short 1 to 3 minute videos. In our Help Center, we have a more robust library of additional videos as well as articles. So if you have questions about a certain feature or an area in Aurora, go ahead and just type in the keyword there and you'll get a list of articles and videos that we have available. For anyone that's brand new, we do have 2 additional live weekly group trainings that we do highly recommend everyone to join, which is our Aurora A to Z, as well as our Smart Roof training. Those are held several times a week. So again, please feel free to register for those sessions by using the link down here. You can also get in touch with our support team. If you navigate over to the question mark icon here to the left of your name, go ahead and click that question mark icon. Need to speak with support, speak with an Aurora specialist. You'll let us know the type of help you'll be needing, whether it's financial analysis help, proposal template help, or Smart Roof help. Schedule that time, and then you'll be scheduling a time to speak a one-on-one screen share with our support team. We'll come back to the database again in just a moment. We will be spending a good chunk of the demonstration in the database section. And I'll actually have everyone navigate over to the settings. On top right, you'll go ahead and click your name and we'll go to settings. Quick note, for anyone changing project settings, configuring proposals, configuring finance products, you do have to have admin level privileges. If you are a single user in your account, you are automatically defaulted to having those privileges. If there are multiple users in your account and you notice that you do not have admin level privileges, please contact the administrator of your account to be granted those privileges. We'll come over to the project settings here on the very bottom left, and this is where we'll start configuring our account. We have our default project settings in which we can save the utility rate escalation and any tax rates. Now, this will be saved under either the residential umbrella or the commercial umbrella. We can easily toggle between the both. But what this means is every time we create a residential project moving forward, it will have the 4% utility rate escalation applied to that project. Again, this is default project settings, so everything that we save here will be applied to all of our residential projects moving over. If we save anything under the tax rates, those will be applied as well. Now, if you have a particular project that you've come across and there might be a different utility rate escalation that you'd like to apply, of course, we can edit that on a project by project basis level as well. We'll get to that in just a moment. So we've saved our default project settings. Let's just jump over to our default finance settings where we can add our incentives. Let's go ahead and click Add Incentives. First incentive I want to add is my federal ITC. And in our incentives database, what Aurora's done is collected 50 of the most highly requested, most popular incentives across the nation in the US. So things like the Colorado Core Rebate, the Illinois SREX, the New Jersey SREX, for example, the Rhode Island Renewable Energy Fund. These are pre-configured incentives. And you can go ahead and just click the plus icon here and have that saved to your list, and we can apply that to any project. If there's an incentive in your area that you don't see on our list, go ahead and click Create Custom Incentive here at the top. We'll go ahead and give our incentive a name. Select whether it's going to be on a national or local level. If tax rates are applied, and this is tax rates to the savings, and the incentives type. So we can set save a cost-based incentive, a performance-based incentive, system size-based incentive, and a fixed amount. Let's say if it's a cost-based incentive, you'll tell the system what percent of the system costs and if it's capped. If it's performance-based, we'll go ahead and enter in the rate per kilowatt hour, the escalation rate, and the duration. If it's based on system size, is it based on DC, STC, DC, PTC, or AC? And then finally, we have our fixed amount. So let's go ahead and create our Aurora incentive today. I'll go ahead and add that. I also would like to add my federal ITC as well, so we'll go ahead and add that as well. Project life is defaulted to 25, and in this case, I do want to save it at 25, but I can go ahead and update that if I'd like. If utility bill savings or feed-in tariffs are going to be taxed, I'll click this box here. And then we have system and maintenance where we can update the degradation, inverter replacement costs, and inverter life. So let's go ahead and add our degradation, inverter replacement costs, and inverter life. And then we have our discount rate. So our discount rate is often confused with the discount that you may be offering to your clients. This is actually a tool that we use that compares future cash flows to present cash flows. So if you'd like to discount their cash flow, you can go ahead and apply that rate there. If you're just going to present the customer savings in today's dollars, you'll go ahead and update that discount rate to 0. Once we've saved all of our default project settings as well as our default finance settings, I'm going to jump over to the database section, and let's jump into our proposals now. As I mentioned earlier, in Aurora, we do have 7 pre-configured templates for you. We have our Becquerel, Fritz, Fuller, and Pearson. Those are going to be our 4 residential sales templates. Quick fun fact, Becquerel, Fritz, Fuller, and Pearson are all named after solar pioneers, so people that have contributed significantly to the solar industry. We have our 2 commercial templates, and then our preliminary site assessment document. And our preliminary site assessment document is a pretty straightforward document. It is 2 pages with main client information here in the top right-hand corner. Anywhere you see Aurora today on our proposals will be where your logo does populate. We have a top-down 2D view of the home. And on the second page, we have another 2D view of the home as well as a 3D view and a complete component list. Let's jump back over to proposal templates. And in Aurora, we do want all users to have access to all 7 master templates. And so if I click into any of these templates here today, I will not be able to make any kind of configuration changes. If I'd like to make a copy of the template and start really customizing it and making my own, what I'll do is click the 3-dot icon here, duplicate this, give our proposal a name. Let's go ahead and duplicate that. And now I have the document that I can configure. Let me jump back over to our templates list real quick. And now I know that this is the proposal template that I can start making configuration changes to. I do have my custom icon here, and all of these will be the Aurora master template. If you've gone through all 7 of our templates and you don't find one that works best for you, you are more than welcome to create a template from scratch by clicking Add Proposal Template here in the very top right. You'll give your template a name, select the page orientation, and then the page size. Now, while that option is available, I do highly recommend everyone build off of one of our pre-configured templates. It just makes it so much easier. We have built out a lot into these pages, and I'll just show you in just a moment. You can really make one of our pre-configured templates your own with the design that best fits your business needs. So go ahead and, in this case, today I want to expand my logo there a bit. All of our residential sales templates do have a cover page like so. With the cover page, I can update the background, update the text. I can change the text box around, change where the text is appearing on this template. We have a disclaimers page with key proposal assumptions. A why your company page. System overview page showing system size, system cost, key statistics, the type of components that you're using, a 2D, 3D viewport of the home. What is the cost of not going solar? This is always a pretty standout graph to a lot of clients. It shows them what their current utility bill looks like and what that bill will look like in 25 years with and without solar. How much will you save with solar? Comparing a finance page, again, I mentioned earlier, our templates do default to comparing a cash and a loan. A breakdown of the cash page. Breakdown if they were to go with the loan option. Or loan page continued. Rebates and incentives. Warranty and insurance. Testimonials page. Why go solar? So investing in your home and in the environment. An FAQ page. Next steps. And finally, your back page. Now, if you ever want to change the order of any of these pages, for example, let's go down to this page here. You can go ahead and select these plus and down, these up and down icons, and they'll change the order of the page. If you'd like to copy a page, you'll click the copy icon here. And if you'd like to completely just trash the page, you'll hit the trash icon there. For today's demonstration, I'll go ahead and insert a brand new blank page. And this is going to add a new page to my proposal, and I can start building on my page here. I'm going to create a final overview page right before the next steps page, just for another quick and final snapshot for my client, so they can see, you know, what their system entails. So navigate over here to the very top right under settings, and this will be the general settings of this proposal. I've already given my proposal a name, so Workshop July 18, 2019. I can go ahead and update the theme colors, change the opacity of the theme colors. And if there's a particular hashtag ID that you have for your color, you're more than welcome to enter that in there. We have primary and secondary colors. We can update the page size, whether we'd like to have it US letter or A4. And then the financing. So this is a very important area. I mentioned earlier, you can compare up to 3 different finance options in Aurora. So let's say we were going to create our first proposal comparing a cash option and a loan option and a PPA option. I'll go ahead and set the parameters there. And now the system will always recognize that I'm going to compare these 3 finance options on this proposal. If you're just doing a cash proposal, you go ahead and just delete PPA loan and then change this type to any. But again, I do want to compare these 3 options today. So I'll go ahead and save that. And then I want to expand the features list here on the very far right. Now let's go ahead and start customizing and creating our page. Let me first add our text box. And notice how when I add a text box, this grid appears on the outside of it. This is just the grid is, you could certainly design outside of the grid. So you can bring your text box up. The grid will help you design your page a little more crisp and clear. You can snap the text box halfway across the grid halfway across these lines on the line. So it just makes the design process a little easier. You go ahead and start typing our text. And notice that when I click into the text box, they do have additional options here at the very top. I can change the font, for example. So let's go ahead and change the font style. I can change the font size. I can change the text color. I can make the text bold, italicize the text, underline the text, change the alignment of that text, change the line height. Let's go ahead and update that as well so it's more center. I can add bulleted and numbered lists to my text boxes. I can add a border. Let's go ahead and add a border today. It's just a small one. I can apply which sides of the box I'd like that border to apply to. I can change the padding. And then finally select a background color. We have our line feature, which is a pretty straightforward feature. We can add a line to any of our pages to break up the information. So let me go ahead and expand this. For example, if I'd like to break up, just put that small break in there between where the header is and where the rest of the text will be going. I can go ahead and expand that out. I can change the line color and thickness as well. We could add additional images to our page as well. So let me go ahead and expand this out. And you may want to use the image feature to add images of things like on your about your page. You may want to make your proposal a little more personal and add an image of your entire team. On your testimonials page, you may want to include images of past projects that you may have worked on. You may want to include images of the components that you're going to be working with. Let's say if you have a curious homeowner who wants to see the components prior to installation, you may want to include that. You simply expand your image box, click into the image there, and then upload any file available on your computer. Go ahead and delete that. We have our option to add your logo anywhere on the page as well. Now in Aurora, your logo does appear on the front and very back page of your proposals, but if you'd like to add additional images of your logo, you'll go ahead and do that. I've seen a lot of our clients add maybe like their logo here in the very center bottom of the page. Let me go ahead and go to my logo settings. Since I've uploaded my logo with the light background, I'll change that and now that'll appear. You may want to add it to the very center bottom, the very bottom right-hand side, maybe the top right-hand side, anywhere you like. Just, again, a lot of my clients do that to make their company stand out. So you may want to include just that reminder of who the clients are working with in every page. We do have our 3D viewport as well. So as soon as I generate the proposal, this will populate with either a 2D or 3D image viewport of the home. Now, although this says 3D, we can certainly show it the image in 2D using this feature as well. And I'll show you how to do that a little later on in today's presentation. So if you'd like to add additional 3D viewports of the home, go ahead and add that, use that option there. We have a number of charts and graphs available. For example, our annual cash flow chart. Let me go and expand this out. Now this shows annual cash flows for the entire life of the project. I've set my project life to 25 years, so that's why we see it going from year 1 to year 25. With our graphs, I can go ahead and update the font style, add a border to our graph, update the padding, add a background color, and then change the positive and negative colors. Let's say I'd like the negative color to be a true red. Let's go ahead and update that to a red, and then I can choose the exact color of red I'd like. And then in our chart settings, one really important area will be tying it to the right finance option. So I mentioned earlier, we're going to be presenting the 3 finance options on this proposal today, the cash loan and PPA. On our pre-configured pages, if I click into the chart here, I can see that that chart will be applied to the, will be tied to the cash finance option, and that's because it's being presented on the cash page. If I click into the graph here, it is tied to the loan option because it's being presented on the loan page. So if you are going to be adding additional charts to your proposal, please be conscious of tying it to the correct finance options. A lot of time we see clients add charts and tables and then later on generate the proposal, and some of the numbers may be a little off. And when we go in to investigate, it's usually because it's not tied to the correct finance option. So again, be a little just a little careful when adding your graphs. We have our cumulative cash flow chart, which shows year by year cash flows. Our production versus consumption chart for year one. So what their production versus consumption likes for the and consumption looks like for the first year. We can go ahead and toggle the view icon, make this just a production chart if we'd like, or in reverse, we can make it just a consumption chart if we like. Again, with all of our charts and tables, you can go ahead and update the font, add a border, change the padding, background style, and then again, tying it to the correct finance option. Question from Javier, can you place side-by-side options? Yeah, so you can create multiple graphs on the same page and compare side-by-side. So let's say you're going to compare your cash and loan side-by-side. You'll simply just add two of the same graphs and then tie each of those graphs into the right finance option. We have our electricity bill mix, or electricity bill chart, which shows their pre and post solar utility bills. We have our electricity mix pie chart, which is going to show the homeowner where their electricity is, where their usage may come from. So of course, if we were going to offset 100% of their bill, this pie chart would be a complete 100%. And then finally, we have our lifetime bill comparison, which shows side-by-side pre and post solar utility rates for the entire life of the project. We have our cash flow table as well. Let me go ahead and expand that out and zoom this out a bit. It's too zoomed in. And this is going to show cash flow tables for the entire life of the project. We have our annual cash flows and our cumulative cash flows. If we click into the chart, we can add additional columns, including things like PBI, PPA payments, interest payments, national and local depreciation benefits, principal payments, for example, loan payments. If we click into that, it's just going to add that additional column there. We have our bill of materials table. Let me go ahead and expand that out. And this will show the type of components that we're working with on this project. So let's go ahead and go to the view icon. I want to select the type and manufacturer as well. So now we're presenting to the client the type of component that we're using, the manufacturer of the component, the model type, the model number, and then the quantity that we're using. And then finally, our monthly savings table. Let me go ahead and expand this out. And this shows savings on a kilowatt hour basis as well as a dollar basis for the first year of the project. If I'd like to turn off the grid, let me go ahead and right click on my mouse. I can toggle the grid off and toggle that grid on. For today, I'm going to, again, create that final overview page. So I'm going to add a 3D viewport of the project, kind of bigger viewport. Add my text box. Go ahead and update the text here. And then again, if anyone has any questions, please feel free to type those into the chat box at this time. I'm going to kind of work through configuring the rest of this page really quickly. So notice that every time I click into a chat text box, I do get this little bubble that appears above my cursor. This is where we can add additional placeholders to our text box. So if I click into it, it brings me to our text box, our placeholders list. We have a number of different placeholders we can add to our proposal. For example, under the design side, we can add a placeholder for the name of the project, system size based on DC, STC, PTC, AC, number of modules. We can add in different utility bill placeholders as well. So for example, the utility bill post solar total lifetime total, the avoided cost of energy, avoided cost percent of electric bill percent year one, loan placeholders. And what our placeholders are, they make our proposals unique. Any of these highlighted areas here are going to be placeholders. Now, these are the values and figures that will update each and every time you generate your proposal. So the total savings for this project, for this proposal would update. The estimated utility bill pre and post solar would update. So any highlighted value here on our pre-configured pages, those are placeholders. And if I'd like to add additional placeholders, again, I'll click into the text box, click into that little, the icon there, and then let's go ahead and start adding our placeholders. So go ahead and search for production, and I want to do production year one. And keep in mind, you do want to place the cursor where you are going to add the placeholder. You unfortunately can't change where the placeholder is. Just make sure that the placeholder, your cursor is in the correct place. Let's go savings. And again, just like our charts and graphs, I do want to make sure that it's tied to the right finance type as well. So in our savings for the cash option, I will go ahead and add cash savings, nominal value lifetime. I'll go ahead and change this one to loan. So now we have our loan savings, nominal value lifetime, and then finally our PPA option as well. The question is the ROI, is there an ROI parameter? So we do have the ROI placeholder as well. I believe that's under our financing. We have our list there. Go ahead and toggle off my grid. Now my final overview page has been configured. I do want to, I'll go ahead and click back into this text box and make this editable. This just means when I generate the proposal, I can start making edits into this text box, and I'll show you what that means in just a moment. We'll go ahead and make that editable. And I want to just kind of put one little last jazz on my final overview page, just like our cover page. We do have an image in the background with the text overlaying that image. I want to create a similar effect on my final overview page. So I'll go ahead and add an image. All throughout my page here. Uploaded image. And now what's happened is the page is, the image is overlaying the text on my page, but I'd rather have it the other way around. So I'll right click into the image, send to back, and now I have my text overlaying the image. And it's almost perfect. The image in the background is still a little dark. I can barely see the text here. So while I have the image clicked, I'll click here to the very top right and change the opacity of that image. And now I have my final overview page configured. I do want to save this, and just kind of a tip, just go ahead and hit save every so often as you're configuring your page, just to make sure everything saves properly. So we went through how to, modifying your logos, text, and viewports on your proposals page. We took a look at how, adding our logo to additional pages on our proposals, adding those text boxes, adding our placeholders, changing the font and borders of our text boxes, adding those 2D, 3D viewports. We went through our Becquerel sample today. Went through how to modify, again, those charts and tables. Now let's take a look at where our financial analysis fits into all of this. So I'll jump over into finance products. And in our finance products, we can configure loan templates, our lease templates, and our PPA templates. So let's go ahead, and today we'll configure a 20-year loan, the 5.99% option. Go ahead and create that. Go to the edit, our general edit finance settings here. We have a name for a loan. We can select the type, whether it's going to be residential or commercial, the loan type, or the financing type, whether it's going to be a loan, PPA, or a lease. In this case, it is a loan, so we'll save, and then we'll add our loan. So I'll keep that same naming convention to keep it easy for myself. The principal amount of the loan. If there is a dealer fee, I'll go ahead and add that, and then I can add the dealer fee to the system costs, automatically have the system do it for me. Is the interest tax deductible? And then we have 4 loan types that I can configure. We have our mortgage style loan, which is a regular loan with monthly interest and principal payments made at the same time. We have our bullet loan, which is paying off interest and principal at the end of the loan term. Bullet loan often is referred to as a balloon loan in the finance industry as well. In solar financing, we often don't see a bullet loan kind of on its own. We do see it kind of tied into a mortgage style loan as well. So maybe 30% of the project cost is a bullet loan, and then when they receive their federal ITC, they'll buy the system down, and then the remaining 70% will default to a mortgage style loan. We have our interest only loan with which is a 2-term loan option, paying interest only for the first term and regular mortgage payments after. And then we have our no payment option, which is a 2-term loan with no payments for the first term and regular mortgage payments after that. I'll go ahead and create a mortgage style loan. Set my interest rate and duration in months, and then I do want to apply a 30% prepayment at month 18. And then I get a quick summary of what I've just created. So the system owner will receive a mortgage style loan for 100% of the project cost with an interest rate of 5.99% over 20 years. The dealer fees for this loan will be added into the system cost for incentive and tax calculations, and a prepayment of 30% will be made at month 18. Now, if you are working with a loan with a financier and you are having trouble setting up your loan, again, please feel free to reach out to your dedicated customer success analyst or your account manager here at Aurora. Be more than happy to help you set that up, or you're more than welcome to reach out to a member of our support team as well. I'll jump back over into finance products and I'll create my PPA as well. Let's go ahead and create that. I'll change the finance type to PPA, save that. Any upfront payments that they may be making, the rate of the PPA, and then the escalation rate. Once I've saved all of my finance products and my proposal templates are complete, I'm ready to kind of bring everything together and generate my final proposal. Taking a quick peek at our finance into our financing as well. Again, the results of our finance page will feed into the proposal template. So they will feed into the charts, those placeholders, and cash flow tables. We went through a demonstration of our finance products. Now let's bring it all together into a final project that I've been working on. So let's go into project here. Before I generate the proposal, I do want to make sure that everything has been complete. So if I go over to the design side, the site model of the project's been complete. My production has been simulated, so I have my production as well as my utility bill savings for this project. I have set the pricing for this project. Let's go ahead and run our financial analysis. Go ahead and add our Aurora incentive as well. Let's go ahead and add the products that we just created and run our analysis. And now we have a side-by-side comparison of all 3 options. So our cash option, which is always going to be our default option, our PPA option, and then finally our loan option. From here, we'll jump over into documents, click new proposal, where we'll go ahead and generate our final proposal. So let's go ahead and pick the template we created earlier, tie in the right options, and create. And we'll wait just a moment for this to generate. And our front cover is updated. All of our, and every single page on our proposal is updated. Mentioned earlier, those placeholders, all of those placeholders have updated with the correct information. So the utility company, the utility rate for this project, the system size, total system cost, why your company page, the system size, the system specs for this project. We could go ahead and update how we'd like the imagery to appear. What is the cost of not going solar? How much will you save with solar? And then finally, let's go down to the page that we created earlier. And my page has updated. Let me go ahead and I can kind of play around with the image here. I mentioned going from a 2D top-down view to 3D. So I can show this image in either a 2D or rotate it to go into 3D. If I click into the image itself, I get this view icon here in the very top left-hand corner, where I can toggle things on and off like the satellite imagery, the ground and sky, enable and disable the trees, any of those options there. I can change the, I mentioned earlier, making the text box editable, so I can go into the text box now and make any kind of changes I'd like to make on some of these pages. Let's go up to our cash page, for example. No matter how much I click into here, I won't be able to make any changes there just because the page I did not make editable earlier. But this portion of the page here, I did make editable. So if I click into that, I can go ahead and update whatever it is I need to update there. From here, I'll click the print icon and I can print my document or save as PDF. Just quickly going through to kind of a general Aurora workflow. These are the just kind of the normal steps you'll be taking in order to go from that address to proposal, is inputting client information, analyzing local location, designing your PV system, and then finally generating that proposal. Now, this is the end of our demonstration. Thank you everyone for joining me today. I hope this was useful. Again, I'll stay on for a few more minutes just in case anyone has any questions. I did see a number of questions come through, so I'll definitely get to those.